If you've ever felt like, hey, I can't end the day like this, I can't go out like this, I need to fix this episode is for you. Let's get into revenge trading. So, most traders, when we think about revenge trading, we think like greed, stubbornness, hard headed, but it's a little deeper than that, okay? Revenge trading is a stress response. Revenge trading is a natural reaction, so you can stop beating yourself up. But yeah, when we talk about revenge trading, it is basically our brain's attempt at regulating itself after a financial loss. From here on, I want you guys to think of revenge trading as like an emotional regulation attempt by your brain, right? It's not because you're hard headed or stubborn, it's literally a natural reaction to what our brains go through when we deal with a financial loss. When you take a loss financially, one, our brain registers that as physical pain, very, very similar how that reads in the human brain, but also it is an attempt to regulate, right? So when we take a financial loss, our brains are looking for relief. It's not necessarily that you're trying to make more money, even though that may be the intention, but actually it's for relief, right? We're looking for that emotional relief. We don't want to feel the financial loss. When you take a financial loss, our brain's reaction is instant, right? It sends that threat signal to the amygdala. It floods our brains with cortisol, that's your stress hormone, and it sends out like a full body response to what it perceives as a threat. And this weakens our PFC, right? This weakens our prefrontal cortex, so we're no longer able to think logically. All we're thinking about is relief and stopping the feeling that we're in danger. Another thing you may experience when this happens is like a sense of urgency, right? It's not like you don't want to wait on a new setup. You don't want to wait to review what went wrong in the last trade. You want to take action immediately. And again, that is a natural response because action feels like control. And it even goes a little deeper, right? Sometimes the loss financially isn't just about the money. Actually, it can affect your identity, right? There's a little bit of ego that goes on with this too. So when you take a loss, right, it's also a threat to your identity. If you identify as someone who's a trader, if you identify as someone who makes good decisions or knows what they're doing in financial markets and that gets invalidated, then it can also trigger a stress response. When that trade doesn't work out, right, it's not only we're losing money, but we're also having like this existential threat to our identity, and that hits way harder. And so now your revenge trading can also turn into trying to prove something, right? Trying to prove you are who you think you are. And that is a very dangerous game to play in the stock market. After losses, a lot of times traders tend to want to size up. They want to go bigger. They lower their standards, right? You don't really have the patience to sit and wait on your ideal trading setup. You just want to go in and make that money back. You might even start trading a little faster, right? And again, this is about relief. This is not about just the money. This is about emotional regulation in your brain trying to right itself. Revenge trading can actually feel productive, right? It feels good to take action and feel like you're moving yourself forward, but it has to be under the right conditions for it to actually make sense. Losses also impact your dopamine, right? We talk about the feel-good hormone, dopamine. When you take a loss, right, you have a drop in your dopamine levels. And so when you go back in, remember, dopamine spikes on the anticipation of a reward. So let's say you take a loss, you experience that dopamine drop, but now going back in immediately, it feeds that dopamine, right? It gives you that feel good feeling because again, dopamine spikes on the anticipation. Whether or not the setup is there, it doesn't matter. You're still going to feel that relief by jumping right back into the market. The entry itself provides relief, but does it get you closer to your financial goals? Not necessarily, but we'll talk about this later, but there's actually a part of the brain that shuts down through all this too that can affect your long-term thinking, right? When you're in survival mode, you cannot think long-term anymore. You're thinking about the here and now. And in the case of the market, you're talking about you want to feel relief right now. You don't really care about a setup. Your brain's not prioritizing that. So how do you fix it? So one of the things you can do actually is pause, right? After you take a financial loss, take a step back. I would say at least 10 minutes, right? Get away from the screen, get away from the stimulation of the market, take a walk, get some water, whatever that is, meditate, but you really want to give your PFC time to come back online so you can make those logical decisions. Also, try to avoid sizing up on the same day you've experienced a loss. And before you enter the market, check in with yourself, right? Ask yourself, am I calm? Am I anxious? Do I feel any type of heightened emotional state? Because when you trade, you really want to come in that flow state. If you feel like you're trying to fix something or if you feel like you're rushing, then that is not the ideal state that you want to be in to execute anything in the market. But yeah, revenge trading is not weakness, right? It is natural. It is a stress response. But the biggest thing you can do, I always say this, you are your edge. And so the biggest thing you can do is understand your emotional state, right? Understand how to regulate yourself and understand when to walk away, right? Every day is not a trading day. And that's because we're human, right? We're human and we're not going to be 100% all of the time. So to think anything different is ego, right? So we have to protect our money from the market, of course, but first and foremost, we always want to protect our capital from ourselves and from those times when we're not in the right state of mind to be executing trades. If this resonated with you guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Our next one, we're going to be talking about emotional regulation some more. We're going to talk about how we can regulate in real time, all that fun stuff. But yeah, thank you for watching and follow Investing Bae.